go.
I think we're live, man. Are we live? Welcome to the Detail Grind podcast.
Welcome.
Let's know if you guys can hear us because we have no indicator on our end that we're live.
Yeah, I see it live. I have another tab open now. Let's just say episode 2, and we already have 2 big old hitters, and you're with them. What are the odds of that?
Weird. I haven't.
Nobody else is here.
I haven't done a podcast with people in person like ever. This is wild.
If JB, if you can take that chandelier behind you and like take that home, I will gladly accept that. That light.
All the lights in here are like really weird and eccentric and really cool looking. So yeah. I'll try to squeeze it in the bag.
But yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Detail Grind podcast. Appreciate you all tuning in. We need to have a little discussion as to why JB is with our good friend Brad and DJ
Salsa.
DJ Salsa, DJ Chick-fil-A sauce.
But we are unfortunately here in Las Vegas without Alex.
The FOMO is real.
There's been a piece missing. Like I feel like I haven't been able to fully enjoy myself because you're not here too.
Yeah. For those wondering, the one that looks freezing cold is Brad because he's not in Florida.
Oh man,
the one that's acclimatized is DJ on JB's right.
Yeah,
someone said drunk JB.
This guy. Pull this up, Patrick Brum. This is one of my buddies here. This is one of my buddies. He's not wrong. I did have a flight of margaritas before I jumped on this stream. So please.
Yeah, where'd you guys hit up lunch today?
Tacos and beer, baby. Tacos and beer at the recommendation of Mr. Bob Phillips. We were at the PNS booth. We were making our rounds, saying bye to everybody today. We were like, where do we go to lunch? And he was like, you guys like tacos? We're like, yeah. He's like, it's like beer? Yeah, we like beer. He goes, tacos and beer. So I've heard so much about it from the TRC crew. You've heard so much about it. And we lost him. Here we go. Doer and his connection. But while we wait for Doer to get started, there was a 4th person in our crew this week. And since the stream is SEMA with the boys, you guys may or may not recognize Dr. Paraj Patel. He was hanging out with us all week. What's up, Doc? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Let's see. Let's get us all in here somehow. Well, how do we do this? Bear with us. There we go. We'll get Doer back in here as soon as he's live. Dr. P's at the airport right now. Dr. P's waiting to board his flight, but we had a hell of a week here at SEMA.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for sure.
This was a big week of meeting everybody that we've been friends with, that we've been watching for a while now through our screens in person, and everyone is just as they seem.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty fun. It was a lot of fun to see people in person, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how tall you were. You're a big dude.
That seemed to be the consensus was, hey, JB, nice to meet you. Holy shit, you're tall. So
yeah, you're a tall dude. Yeah.
There we go. There. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And obviously really good to meet DJ and Bradley in person as well. So
absolutely. They're very cool guys. Like I've been hanging out with them, getting to know them better, like, you know, all this week. And yeah, they're just super cool dudes. Super cool dudes.
You know, it's different to get to know someone when you're actually living with them for a few days.
I'm not going to air any of that laundry. Happens in Vegas, Doc.
Yeah, that's right. What happens in Vegas, right?
If anyone knows that, it's you, Doc.
There may or may not be some videos floating around that we'll keep private.
That's right.
Well, the good news is you can probably see them on the big screen for the new release of the movie.
Oh, man. So we've got a bunch of people here in the chat. We've got 22 people live. We appreciate every single one of you over here. Alex was nice enough to put together a spreadsheet of topics to talk about. Some of these we may have seen. Doc, you may have seen these since you were exploring different areas than we were at different times. But I haven't been able to catch up on any of the social media stuff yet, so I'm behind. I only know what I've seen with my 2 eyes before. So Alex has us. I'm going to go in order of and respect what he's done here. But we have the drops from PNS first.
Be familiar with those, Mr. PNS.
I'm pretty familiar with these. We have Reflect Glass Finisher. Let's see if once Alex gets back, he'll pull up maybe the stuff on the website. But Reflect Glass Finisher, that is a new glass cleaner / SiO2 protectant, all-in-one. Finish your glass work with. Pretty cool. Made me say holy shit when I flipped the towel because of how slick it is on that final wipe. And I'm excited to see the performance of that. I don't know if you got to stop by and see any of that, Dr. P. Here's Alex.
I saw some of the other things that PNS had out, like the I think you're bringing up the wipes.
Yes. There he is.
I am throwing this software out the window.
Yeah, we'll go. I think we'll go back next time to.
We'll see what we can figure out. But yeah, thank you all for your patience. Appreciate the keeping going. But yeah, I did create a bit of a spreadsheet because all these guys are far too busy on the show floor because it is multiple miles, kilometers, whatever measuring system you'd like to use of walking. Like if I had the carpet contract for like all the little rugs they laid out, I mean, I'd be a bajillionaire.
We estimate that like we've probably walked like over 30 miles this week.
Yeah. It's a good week to have some kind of pedometer, calculator / smartwatch to really count the steps.
It's a good week to be in a fitness competition with your friends who are closing your rings. And I hopefully I'm doing pretty good. I haven't checked yet, but we were just talking about the PNS stuff, Dewar. We were a little privy to some of it, as you guys had mentioned. Yes.
But like you said, Reflect kind of blew your mind.
Reflect was very nice.
Yep. The Glacier Ebony Scent, I believe they called it. That's
it's like a sophisticated black ice. Like for the black ice that we all grew up with hanging from our rearview mirrors with the little black trees. It's like a sophisticated version of that. And that's also the scent that's in Reflect.
That's the grown up version.
Yeah. So when you finish that glass, you'll get a nice little musk in the car, which is nice.
So I'm gonna pull up the PNS site here because there's a few things you'll notice that we have on our spreadsheet aren't necessarily on websites yet because they've just kind of been talked about. But here we go. So this is the full PNS site. So we are going to touch on a few different things that I do have on my cheat sheet. So yeah, the Ebony Ice is a really cool thing because like their scents, because they had the leather last year, they had the strawberry lemonade, and all kinds of fun stuff. They do say like 1 16-ounce per 2 gallons of water. I think 16 in a gallon is even light.
Yes.
Like don't.
You can go stronger if you want. So
don't go straight, but go slightly diluted.
It might be a little wild. And shout out to Sydney because Sydney put together this fragrance bar this year where she had every scent out and she had the little paper strips like you were at Sephora. She had your coffee beans to cleanse the nasal passages between each scent. And yeah, she just knocked it out of the park with that little arts and crafts project. So shout out to Sydney. That was a good time.
And hey, if you have Swirl Killer coffee, you might as well have it to cleanse the palate.
I didn't have any of that. I didn't see them brewing any of that around. So maybe next year they can. They can do that.
But we have the free ride. Oh my god, I can't talk. The free ride wool buffing pad, which I had no idea was coming out, but super cool.
Yep, it's nice to have a little wool addition to that lineup.
If you like the cut with some coolness, like temperature wise, the Express wipes, which you've had under wraps for quite a while, and to answer Kimberly's question, I do not think that they're going to freeze because I don't think that there's enough liquid in that to really warrant freezing. But even if they do, it's not that big of a deal.
In my experience, it's not like there's like the amount of liquid in like a Clorox wipe or a Lysol wipe. It's not like really sloshing around in there. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue with that.
Right. So yeah, some great stuff from PNS. They're really knocking it out of the park this year. Some things that weren't on the site, they did have the stout coating, which I don't know if necessarily is going to replace Legend, but is adjacent, probably easier to apply, but longer lasting.
Yep.
Which, if you're into coatings, it's certainly a great option. But yeah, some other notable updates this year were the 8, 32, and 128 ounces of rehab, which if you have not tried a rehab, pick it up. The 8 ounce especially.
Rehab's been a great addition for us. I mean, it's when you think of compounds or polishes, you don't think of how easy of a wipe off can this be, but rehab opened that door, and it's like you almost don't want to use something else now. Like I find myself reaching for that because of how easy it is, and then only leaving if needed. But it's been great, easy to use, and it smells. A good smelling compound is a nice treat.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to do.
Definitely a great one step on lighter colored cars too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One thing you don't want to do is that if you are doing a one step, don't go around the whole car without wiping it off, because if you leave it on a panel and you come around like 40 minutes later, it is rock hard.
Yeah,
it can't come off. So ask me how I know.
I think DJ had that feedback too. So but I think it's just like an adjustment of your process. But overall, the product itself, it's killer. So.
And they're doing a bit of a revamp on their labels. I know Bob loves the label design. I think he's kind of the label guy, if you will.
I'm excited to see everything get that uniform, like that new updated look, because
that's your jam. That's your jam is uniformity and whatnot. So but Dane chiming in.
JB, there was a question earlier about the interior wipes. It said, do you need to have a second towel to clean it up once you wipe?
I think it really depends on what you're cleaning. They do lather up, just like if you were to spray Express onto a brush or like a Scrub Ninja or something like that. It will produce a lather, but that's if you're being pretty aggressive with it. I think if you're just doing a simple wipe, I haven't noticed any residue, but it might be a good idea to just quickly level it off with the second towel.
Nice.
Yeah. I used the Express wipes to clean all of my shoes before Vegas to make sure everything was fresh. So they're very versatile. Whether it's wiping your polishers down after you're done with the job, or like maybe a pad cleaner, might have spun and flung everywhere, like cleaning things up like that. So it's not just limited to automotive use. It's got a lot of places around the garage you can use it.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of the uniformity and the labels, and with the wipes, I think those are going to be pretty cool. And again, they're not designed to clean your entire interior if it's all nasty. Don't think that it's not to replace other ones, if you will. But
I did an entire interior when I was testing them to see if it was feasible. Absolutely feasible, but I probably went through like 30 or 45 of these wipes to get through a pretty like well-loved interior. So I would see it more of like, especially if they ever come out in a smaller pack, something you can give to your customer. Like don't go to AutoZone and pick up like Armor All and destroy everything that I've done in this detail for you. Use something like this. So hopefully that's in the works. But I think they'll be a hit once people get them in their hands and use them everywhere. I think they'll see how good they are.
Yeah, Details Official. I know they were at SEMA as well. I'm not sure if you guys ran into them or not, but
we did. I got to meet both of them, and they are a fun time. What a fun group of people.
But I mean, to answer their question, I don't know for Alcantara. I haven't used Express on Alcantara myself, but I think as long as you don't introduce too much moisture, I think it should be fine.
If you guys either use Express on Alcantara, I don't know for certain if.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yep, done on like steering wheels and some like the Mercedes have like the A-pillars on the inside are in it, and you can do it.
Okay, cool.
You just don't want to introduce a lot, and I kind of just use like a short nap towel or like a Tornador air gun to kind of like
keep it from getting too much moisture. Yeah, the pads themselves, they're not like dripping wet, so they may be a good option for that because you're not introducing too much moisture in that.
And I think the biggest of all PNS news was Joey was an employee for a period of time yesterday.
4 hours. 4 hours. I don't know. You know, like when I left for the day, I walked up to Bob Phillips and I said, Bob, I need you to sign my community service form or whatever this is. Like, am I, you know, to relieve me of my duty for the day. But that was fun. Shout out to PNS for inviting me as part of Team Monterey. It was nice to. I didn't get too many questions that I could personally answer, but I was a very good handoff person, I'd like to think. But the you know, those are more related to like distribution and you know, stuff I'm not privy of. But if it was a product question, I did answer a few of those, and it was just nice to represent a team of people as great as them and products that I use, you know, day in and day out, and to just, you know, my wife's probably excited that I'm not there for a week, running through her ear with detailing stuff. So everyone else got to take the abuse, like in the booth. So it was a fun time. So thank you to Bob, Sydney, Keith, Dave, everybody that was there, to just make it a good time.
Yep.
I also got to run into Carlos Serrano in the.
He was everywhere, man.
He was there a minute after I got to the PNS. Like, I didn't even get a chance to like take a sip of water. He had the camera set up in my face. I was mic'd up, ready to go. He gave me this flashy little hat. Shut up, Carlos. He's a really good guy, dude. Big heart on that guy.
Yeah, we saw the picture of you and Carlos together.
Yeah, that was so funny.
We saw Carlos.
How you know that was me?
We saw Carlos somebody.
There's no evidence that was me, dog.
The amount of photos where it's like, you know, Joey kind of lower neck down in the photo is they're kind of taking off. I don't want it to have to be a thing, but it's slowly becoming a thing. Yeah, we did one with a good friend Tony. Tony Mazzell the Gazelle.
Yep, I got to see Tony a couple times. It's very good to see all your friends. It's you know, giving everybody a hug, and it was a good time. So,
but yeah, moving down on our list. Next I had was Gtechniq. They I think they had the coolest booth. They had a patio up top, which was super cool. I don't know many companies that had a staircase that wasn't on an overlanding vehicle.
They were pretty busy. We didn't get too much time to stop by. But they had a pretty powerful booth. I love like the aesthetic of their booth.
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's
very welcoming.
The kind of octagon design is and
I
know with a lot of their products, like the letter will kind of indicate like a WB for like a wash products and things like that. So but that's kind of one of those things that it's not obvious when you look at it. You know, it takes almost someone to tell you, be like, oh yeah, you're right. It does do that. Which it's kind of a
Gtechniq booth, right? You got to see some of that stuff?
Yeah, I did. You know, we talked about it for a little bit. I mean, they're coming out with a new version of C2V3, so C2V4,
Cool.
and which is supposed to have like a little bit more durability, more ease of use, less streaking. Because right now with C2V3, like I don't know, I always spray it into the microfiber first before I wipe onto the car. And that seems to like reduce like the amount of streaking. But I guess their new formula is less streaking. And then the same thing with, they're coming out with like a spray and rinse, kind of like Geon wet coat called Hydro Coat, I believe.
Yeah, that looks super cool.
Yeah, I've been using Gtechniq Easy Coat for a while and had like really good results with it. So I think from what they said at the booth, they said it was supposed to be a little bit longer term and again easier to apply with less streaking, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the notes I had were from what Chris was saying, and I do have to give a big thank you to Michael with Cars from Kiev, and then the OG channel, and then as well as TRC. Those were kind of the main videos I was watching. They were great resources walking around to give me an inside scoop, which I think SEMA is nice to be able just to walk around and explore everything, because you know, some of these companies that work for certain brands don't leave their space, right? Yeah. But I know one of the topics that Chris, great guy over at Gtechniq, was saying that with Hydro Coat versus the Easy Coat was that you don't have because Easy Coat used a garden hose, but he was like a lot of the feedback they got from mobile detailers is they don't have garden hoses to apply products, so then they went away from that. But you can put it in a foam cannon. It doesn't foam, but it still applies. It said about 6 months of protection, and he said the hydrophobics are pretty wild.
Yeah. So DJ and I were talking about this last night. I think it was that sometimes like I'll use a product like that before I'm doing a correction, just because it makes the car easier to dry off. Like I don't want to drag a towel across a flat surface and try to get every inch of that car dry. But using something like that to make my job easier, and I'm just going to polish it off anyway. I'm a big fan of products like that.
Yeah, I've been using Easy Coat as like I just put it in a spray bottle, and I've been using that as like a drying aid, basically. Just spray it on, hose it off, and then get the the Ego leaf blower at it to dry the rest of the car off.
Yep, exactly. I want the water to move a little bit before I pull it in the garage and do the rest of it.
I know a really neat off the record technique that when Eric was still at Gtechniq was when you're actually applying Easy Coat is that you'd have your pressure washer wand going at the car, but you'd spray the fluid into the stream, and then it would kind of like shoot it on, which I thought was super neat. But yeah, they do have a new quick detailer, which I know their first quick detailer was great. I just had one of the sample models, so that's new and improved. And I think finally, a lot of distributors are going to love this, but the new CSL EXO is now in a one box. So it's not two different SKUs now; it's combined. So
that's awesome,
and they have better packaging for it. So
it's nicer packaging.
That seemed to be a theme at SEMA was improved packaging on a lot of brands that we saw, just to make the consumer. You pay all this money for something like that. Even if you're going to toss it away, just that experience of unboxing it, and feeling like you've got this premium thing that you've got your money's worth for. I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome for any brand to do.
Exactly. And they have a couple of a brand new leather kit that has it's one of those foaming pump sprayers that have kind of been popular in the last year, which they did openly say it's tri-clean in a foaming sprayer. So I know a lot of people love tri-clean because I think it actually has like the certifications for like the microbacterial or whatever certification is, the one that's very difficult to get and very expensive. And then they also have a vinyl PPF kit that they came out with too.
Does Pilot foam in a pump foamer like that? Yep, it will. Okay, cool.
Foam. Some people love foam. I love foam.
Well, like sometimes for like a steering wheel, I don't necessarily like all the overspray, to go all over everything, or I don't know, it just sits on the surface.
You got a lot of buttons. It's not good for foam.
Yeah,
unless you then have to come back with forced air.
Yeah.
Devil's in the details, right? Dr. Patel. Regular Patel feels rude.
or just Doc.
I've been calling him Doc the whole time. I feel like that's that's a respectful thing to do. He's earned that title.
Bruce loves the new packaging. He's probably already got it on order. Bruce to add to his Milwaukee stack. But
Bruce has more red in his garage, man. That's his color. Really brings out his eyes.
It does. It does. And so Gtechniq looks super cool. And they do have a whole whack of their marine stuff as well that they're showing off. But yeah, next on my list was KCX, the Santa Claus himself.
Stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you a story. We were leaving one of the days, and I just see this dude dressed in Santa gear, approaching me, and I just hear, "Ho ho ho, Joey!" I'm I know that voice, and it was Justin. So it was good.
Oh, too funny. But those guys had a great looking booth, and there's something about the periodic table, the elements for their product line that I just love. I've told Jason over there, I'm like, if I can get the actual file of that so I can get it printed, I would
you
not
plaster it on your bedroom wall?
100%.
Over his bed.
With that? Would she be okay looking at?
I'd have to put it on the ceiling so I can just study every night. But yeah, KCX had some big drops this year. I think they surprised a lot of people.
They're growing that periodic table.
It is, yep. It's but the first one that I had noted here was the CES, which is the ceramic effect shampoo, which has been out for a little bit, but they're really dropping.
Don't you guys already have something like this?
Yeah, but they were saying on its own it's about 2 to 3 months. Again, doesn't foam very well, just like the Hydro Coat. That's similar technology. But they have Nano Magic, which is kind of a bucket wash that adds some protection, but this is just kind of amped up. But he said,
my understanding is you're going from a sealant to some stronger SiO2 protection. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, they got some new pads. I mean, their pads are always good, but apparently there was people complaining about like the shredding on the edges.
Oh, because no.
I think Hunter was demoing.
Hunter was demoing it to someone.
We didn't get a chance to interrupt him. But
Yep.
yeah, I did see
Shout out
that.
to Hunter though. He's been working with KCX for like 2 or 3 months and already just running the show at KCX.
Always busy at SEMA.
It was like, I feel like the only time I got to talk to Hunter is when he came to me in another booth, because if you went near KCX to talk to Hunter, good luck.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, they
HPC, the hydroplascare, which the water-based dressing, I don't know much about that. So
no, they said that you can use it straight as a bit more of a glossy finish. If you like, it's not as glossy as Tire Glaze, which was released this past year, but you can cut this 4-to-1 if you want something light. So if you want to stretch it, you can obviously cut it a little bit because it is water-based. So I mean, you have a bit more flexibility there.
So can I use it in place of Motorplast?
They said you can, but because it's Motorplast is water activated, whereas this it would, I think, already have to be dry, and then you would apply it on after the fact. So it could work, I guess, but really just depends on.
I'm curious, like if it self levels like the way Motorplast does. So that might be a good test.
Yeah, I mean, Motorplast it's a great product. I mean, it's very unique, but because it's really only has a purpose.
Try it. You see what it's about. Like
No, I think by far my favorite engine bay dressing.
Yes, absolutely.
They got something right with it. That's and
I have. I'm new to it, but I've used it a couple times. Very nice.
Yeah, it's super nice. There's like very little to like mop up.
Yeah, I talked to the guy about HPC there. I forgot his name, but he basically said they went after like hyper dressing for that product.
Yeah,
was kind of their goal and their idea. And I know tons of people love hyper dressing, especially people have been complaining because it's so hard to get, or it's been so expensive or whatever. I don't know what the deal with it, but I'm sure that'll become a very popular option.
Yeah, I know on Matt's stream, because he asked the same Motorplast question if that can replace it. But was just kind of saying like, I'm looking for a hyper dressing replacement because he loves hyper dressing. But I mean, Matt's always after the next best thing. So this
Matt's poor voice. Man. I got to meet.
Oh my god!
I got to meet Matt yesterday, and his voice was toast. But I can only imagine that it only got worse as it went on.
And I think once your voice is starting to go downhill, I don't know if there's any quick fixes in less than a 24-hour period.
I'm not a big talker, right? Like in my day-to-day, like, I work from home. So most of my communication's online, but like the first day of speaking, like speaking to Doc, speaking to his wife, like my voice was just gone after a little bit. So like I almost had to like condition it and luckily I made it through the week. So
yeah, Dane's right. Matt was squeaking for the first 10 minutes of our stream. It was you can't describe it. You just have to listen to it.
Shout out to Dane. Dane, thanks for stopping by. I know there's like a million other places you could be tonight, but watching us, that's awesome. So thank you. And I wish I could have met you at the TRC booth. So maybe next year.
But GFX is back, baby. The Christmas scented soap.
Brad got to smell it for the first time.
First time.
Jeez.
Wait, did you smell it at the IK booth?
Yeah, they had it loaded in the IK eFoam.
If you walked within 20 feet of that booth, you were smelling some GFX.
Yeah,
it smells so good.
Yeah, Have you used it before, Doc? Or was that your first time smelling it?
That was my first time. I have like the regular GSF, and I thought about getting the GFX, but
I would get a bottle just
but the smell was like phenomenal. It really just like I always describe it as like if you walk into like a craft store like Michael's or something like that during the holiday season, that like just that scent that you get hit with when you walk through, that's like what it's like in your driveway. And then Bradley, didn't you say like it lingers, like the smell lingers for a while too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like if I put a little bit too much in the foam cannon and the foam's sitting at the in the driveway for the rest of the day, my driveway smells like Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't know, because I knew they dropped at the first time. They dropped 3,000 bottles at initial release, and I was really concerned that I wasn't going to get one, because who knows if it was going to make it to Canada or not. So I ended up actually getting it for Christmas, ironically enough. but
Nice.
it was so cold that you couldn't use it right away. So I would just like take hits every once in a while. And then once I finally got to use it, I'm like, this is great. But then I had to be selective. I'm like, I don't know how long this is going to be around for.
I know.
So like it's only for the most special washes. But now I think you can.
I have a second liter now, so I feel like I can loosen up a little bit and use it.
Some breathing room. And speaking of breathing in your interior, they dropped MZR, which I'm not going to actually pronounce.
No, I'm not going to pronounce it. He
shouted
like,
it's
I forgot who we were speaking to, but it was even he was laughing. He's like, we kept the name, but everyone's just going to call it MZR.
Because sometimes there's a translation barrier when the Germans kind of make the labels or the products that they translate into the North American markets. They kind of don't translate. It's like they went on. It's like they used Bing instead of Google to translate it and just went with it.
Wow,
but go ahead. Sorry.
Shout out to Bing.
No kidding. Hey, but MZR. It's designed as the same cleaning power as Green Star, but it's safer, so you can use it on your interior. Is essentially what it is.
Okay.
So I think it's a similar pH and everything. Just
how does it compare to Polestar?
So I think Polestar's probably gonna be a little bit better. I think this is just kind of like Polestar is just so good. Like I really enjoy Polestar.
Like the slightest little bit behind.
But this is kind of I think this is kind of where some of the overlap exists, which I mean a lot of brands have overlap, that's fine. But it's one of those. I think this is probably going to hit a little harder, especially straight. Which I mean, most Koch products you want to cut.
I see Vermil using it all the time. So it seems to do a really good job. So we'll see.
But kind of a quick. It's I'm not even going to try and say the name, but here it is. It's like Joey's new cat sat on a keyboard, and that's how they got the name.
Honestly, that's pretty damn close.
but yeah, it's it's the same 12.5 pH as Green Star. I think it's in that 12-ish range.
Holy 12.5. Okay.
So I think this. I mean, to answer your question, Joey, I think I'm going to change my answer. I think this will hit a lot harder than Polestar. But again, that's if you have. Here like the oil, the grease, the ink. So if you drive a nasty old diesel, and then common road dirt. So
hopefully we get a doer Koch-Chemie video because we know how those hit.
They do. They really do. I don't know what it is about the Koch-Chemie stuff. But yeah, the
protection with a little cut. Is that a new polish, new compound, P102?
Yeah, so the P102. So, like, if you're not familiar with the Koch-Chemie liquids and pads, they're one color-coded, but also the numbering system is pretty similar. So, like, the heavy cut would be the red and H902. So, red is kind of like, let's call it danger, if you will. Like, this is the big hitter, be cautious or whatever. And then you have, like, your micro cut, which is the purple. Which is kind of medium, but on the bottles they have a gloss and a cut level, on a scale of 1 to 10. But because any of their liquids that have a P in the front of it has a silicone protection in it, whereas any of them that do not have any P's to begin with are just a straight cutting or polish. That's kind of how you discern those.
Stuff in your day-to-day or have any experience with
I have a couple of them, but I generally stick to Sonax abrasives.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but if it's working, like, and like your system, like there's that's what we're for. That's what we try all this shit for.
I've been using
exactly
for the last 5 years, and it's just I know how it works. It's like looking at the back of my hand, so it's just easy. It's no thought behind it. It gets the job done. So.
Doc, are you using the Koch liquids and pads?
Yeah, I've used some of them. The H904 I've used for like a hammered Lincoln, but
that's
I've used a couple of them.
Yeah,
super easy to use. They don't dust. They're really nice wipe off. But I'd say they're in the rotation.
Friends do abrasives very well.
Yeah, they know what's up. Like I've been telling a lot of people this week, but like I feel like H9 H902 and Rehab have been really just the two that I've been working with for like the better part of this year. Like if something needs that sledgehammer, then H9 will handle it and Rehab will finish it out. So
and they also dropped a couple new coatings. They have ceramic body and ceramic rims, which personal vendetta, I think it should be called ceramic wheel. Rims are for basketball, wheels are on a car, but that's just me. But yeah, they're claiming 36 months for body, even though they do expect much longer. They're kind of giving a very modest time frame, and 12 months for the wheel. But for the body, they gave kind of like a regular rectangular applicator. But for the wheels, they give you these little
swab guys on wooden.
Like the wooden stick. It's like your little arts and craft little.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Right?
If you've ever gotten one of those like little wedge foam pieces of foam on the end of a stick for arts and crafts, that's what it's
exactly what it is. So I thought that was super cool, especially for wheels. Like, especially if you have really intricate wheels, and I mean, like they exist. Yes. I'm curious in the chat, drop a comment. Like if you're having a customer or a vehicle, and this applies to you guys as well, if you have a customer that has a lot more intricate wheels and they want them coated, would you charge them more depending on the complexity of the wheel?
I wouldn't. No, we don't.
No?
I've been using Phobic.
No,
Phobic is right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Doc's got it. Just use Phobic.
Yeah. I've been using Phobic. You know, like I'll tell them like when they come back, you know, in 6 months or whatever, I'll apply it again. You know,
top it off. Yeah.
No,
that's
JD's got Phobic on his wheels. It's doing great for him.
It's doing great on the wheels. Like I honestly, I'll use a wheel cleaner like when I'm making content because people want to see that color change and it's pleasing.
All you need is soap.
I really just need to foam the car down and rinse it off. That's it. And if you've got ghost on the tire, then same thing. Like the wheels are taken care of. I clean my wheels like maybe once a month now.
That's freaking wild.
It's nice.
I purposely went with a 5-spoke wheel just to make it a little bit easier to clean.
I didn't think of that when I got my wheels. Like I didn't think of it from like a detailing or cleaning perspective. I was just like, these are kind of like a classic look for a German vehicle. And
is DJ in the bathroom?
Is he in the bathroom?
I think he might be in the restroom.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, and then finally with KCX was their they have a whole new line of sprayers for the sprayers that's
we saw 2 of those. They had a few of those up. Yeah,
because Quasar makes those for them. So they have the green top, which is the acidic. Then they have the red. I'm sorry, the green is the alkaline. The red is the acidic, and then the yellow is the foaming.
I like systems. I'm all about systems. Like some people might say, "Oh, that's excessive." Whatever. Like if people are locked into a brand and a brand can provide you that entire system that you need, if it works for you, by all means.
I think they were 1.5 liter capacities.
They seemed a little bit. They seemed on the smaller side, right? They weren't there. I didn't see any
because I know they were really tall. I know that
they didn't have a giant one, but they're all the standard like Quasar 1.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Size.
And then they have the 6 liter pump sprayer that actually has a pressure gauge right on the wand, which is kind of neat. Because I don't think either of them have a Schrader valve, so it's nice to have the little gauge. But I don't know if it's in PSI and bar or just bar because Germany. But hard to say. And they actually had the really cool wall holders for the pump sprayers. I don't know if you noticed that for the small handheld ones.
Yes,
they have like a KCX branded holder, which
they have. They have hanging on the wall.
That's my first thought. Is like if you have a pump sprayer, you can only have so much horizontal space to put them away because they do take up a little bit of real estate. Which can be tricky. That's kind of one of the downsides. It's becoming my like I had a few like the garden sprayers. That I would use for various things. Those live on the side of the house now. I just don't have space to keep those. Like I've got case sprayers, I've got a keg.
So those can be relinquished to actual garden work and stuff around the house now. So in their golden years, you're gonna get pink eye taking your phone into the bathroom.
Yeah,
it's fine, baby. We got all. I brought a bottle of Hero to clean everything on this trip. Doc was impressed with that.
Oh, I was like, I was speechless actually. He had a little spray bottle of Hero at the lunch table, and he was like, "Oh, let me just wash my phone off." And I'm like, and he pulled out an eaglet, and I'm like,
shout out
to get this. Like, I was like, how did that even happen? Yeah. But yeah, before I jump off here, my flight's about to board. I wanted to say thank you to you guys. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, don't worry, we won't say anything
except for bathroom pink eye DJ.
Yeah. It was nothing bad. My wife knows everything.
She does. She does. Yeah. We actually joked with her about everything. So she's
exactly. So all right, but thank you guys.
Thank you again for everything, and yeah, anytime we can hang out in the future, I'm all for it.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, making the time. It's hopefully we'll get to meet you in person next year, but we'll see how she goes.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, see you.
Bye-bye. I think this is funny here. She did say there is proof. There is proof. So called out on the line. We gotta get Bradley back in here with this camera.
Let's see. I can move myself. Let's just do that. I'll go in the corner here or right in the middle. There we go. That'll work.
There we go. That works. I'll tell you can take DJ's space.
Mr. Pink Eye's back.
Oh, okay.
Don't touch the people.
So now onto this next category that you put on this spreadsheet. I think that might be these might be the people we spent the most time with at SEMA.
Easily.
Yep.
Because what a good group of people, and we're talking about TRC.
ADS's newest distributor, unless you guys got another one since then.
I don't know. They're doing big things. So, but are they your newest distributor? Yeah. So welcome ADS to the rag company.
Yeah.
But those guys, man, finally, I'm Doer. Like you've met these guys a few times in person now, and everything that you've said is true. There's no lies detected.
I don't lie.
Great judge of character, Doer.
Yeah, 100%. And they are single digits, I'm pretty sure, from hitting 100,000 subscribers.
No way. Go subscribe to the Rag Company if you're not subscribed. Get these guys to 100,000.
Yeah. In their live, I think they were about 30 away.
Oh, they're gonna
because I think unless you're on your channel's own YouTube studio, you can't really see the exact number. Pop, bring it up.
Hold on.
Look at the glasses.
Oh my God. Serrano's mobile. It says, "Oh my God, it's
DJ needs the toque or the beanie as you
wear. We have to tell a story now.
Some people call me DJ Doyle.
We have to tell a story now.
Right.
So we were actually it's fitting because we were at the TRC booth, and Rennie walks by, and him and DJ lock eyes, right? And they go, "Whoa, I haven't seen you in a while, right?"
Mirror.
They shake hands, and me and JB are looking at each other like they're the same height, the same build. They look exactly the
father and son.
We were like, that's his long lost father right there.
Good to see you this week, Dad. It's been a while.
Oh man,
need some Vegas paternity tests.
That is funny that Carlos said that. Oh my God, it's Rennie Doyle because
Carlos, this is the glasses that did it for you.
It had to be Carlos. Thank you for the hat, my brother. This is my new jam right here. I like.
Is Carlos an IK convert now?
I have to watch his video, but I did hear that.
I did see some beef getting squashed.
Spent some time in the booth.
I think Love Love triumphed hate in the booth, but Carlos may have gotten in trouble a little bit. I heard he was foaming things on the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, I heard the rear end was off limits, and the front.
Was, I don't know about Carlos and his rear ends, but
that's what happens in Vegas, I guess. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Gabe and Dane's brother Corey for doing a fantastic job running the stream. Usually, it's Dane behind the camera, giving all the car tech, which there's a lot of cars to nerd out about there.
Yes.
where I think Gabe was in, not unfamiliar territory, but different with SEMA. And, Anthony's voice was going away as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Corey introduced himself to me as Mini Dane, and I could not agree more. Like they could be twins.
Corey, if you get to meet Corey, it's wild.
He is a very nice guy.
Yeah, if you and you get a bit of the history, he's a very, very smart dude.
Yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
He is a good. Now, if without giving away too many details, I didn't expect my first time meeting the TRC team to happen the way that it did.
Sure.
We all envision, like when you're like, oh, this is probably how it's gonna play out, right? I envisioned going to TRC booth, like, oh my God, hey guys, like whatever. It wasn't having nearly the entire TRC crew come over to our hotel for a few hours.
Yeah, that was wild.
Late in the evening. I did not expect that, but what a good group of people. Like regardless of where you meet them or how you meet them, like great team.
Yeah, and so you got to meet Jeff and
get to work with these people every day.
Yeah. So you got to meet Jeff and Carolyn.
These guys did. They hogged Jeff and Carolyn. And I didn't get a chance to say hello, and I was very upset.
Yeah,
Mom and Dad are great.
They're sweethearts. Yeah,
they really are.
Yeah, we could have sat there and talked to them all day. We could have just waited the whole day 3 just talking to Jeff and Carolyn.
I mean, we've been spending the last 6 months getting to know the TRC team before we went live with TRC and ADS. Getting to know them and Skype calls and stuff, but getting to actually meet them in person, they're even better than what we anticipated. And we already had, we're already like, these are the best people. So just getting to kind of meet the whole team, see their big picture, what they want to do for the future. It really lines up with like what Bradley and I have kind of envisioned. And it, we don't feel like we're just somebody that they sell products. We literally kind of feel like it's a big family through all the brands that TRC carries. So it's very exciting to be a part of that and to get to meet them. Just like it's definitely a perfect pairing.
DJ made an effort to go around to every booth who is affiliated with the rag company to give them hugs and say, we're family now, man.
yeah. Which that number is steadily growing, and I love every bit of it. But a few drops on TRC. There wasn't a whole lot of new products that haven't already been talked about on their channel. The new Ultra Air Blaster V2 with the replaceable parts, which was kind of just, again, more of a feedback from the customer base and then creating something new. And making that, and then the Ultra Ripper rags in white.
I have a box of those. I've got to crack those open, but I just thought it might be nice to have I've got a box of blue, a box of white, and just see how I can, use those to my, in my system of color code.
And I did hear a little bit of when Matt was talking to Anthony on the stream with the squeaky voice. Anthony mentioned a little bit something about getting Swiss tracks for his garage. So I don't know if that actually happened. I never thought he'd actually take the leap, but
he just took one to the studio and he put them in his house.
Had to be.
That's my guess.
But
he also has the hex light. When we see Anthony's garage, got the hex light. Trash.
He's gonna have them under the Acura. He's gonna have them on the roof, on the walls, everywhere.
Might be a little bent,
but
what's up, guys? Anthony with the Rag Company here.
But you got to do the.
No, that's his other channel.
That's right. Never heard of that.
Oh my God.
But yeah, hopping.
We got to see on our first day there. I see you have a note for a Merca, but we did see a maybe Merca.
We saw many Merca wannabes. We'll say that they're going to come out at a much lower price point. Obviously, it's not going to be the Merca. Matt's going to hate them all, but there's a lot of people that are copying the Merca that they're doing a pretty good job, and I think it's going to be good having some options that they're very smooth, $300 to $400 range versus being $900 to $1,000.
Yeah, get it in more people's hands.
So Joey, I didn't know my folks headed home a day early, but I told them they were looking forward to meet you, and they apologize for missing you. They owe you hugs, and when they see you. So
awesome.
Hopefully,
every time I turned around, I was like, "Oh my God, they're still talking business!" Like, come on.
Hopefully they'll see you in about 5 months. That's all we'll say.
Who knows?
But moving on down the line, our favorite sprayer, IK. They had
this was a big deal.
Yeah, The
now I am upset because I would say they probably have one of the most popular booths at SEMA in the West Hall.
The foaming was just
We need to do live demos. It really
everyone
wanted
wanted to foam the car.
Yeah, so I apologize to Iban because I must have walked by the booth 10 times so that I could say hi to this man, and every time he was busy. He was busy foaming something, talking to somebody, choking Carlos. Like I couldn't get in, but I apologize, Iban. I hope to meet you in the future at another event. We'll make it work. Promise.
Yeah, Iban, he always wears an overwhelming amount of cologne, and I love it every time. You can smell that guy from a mile away. Yep. But
they've got the new alkaline sprayers.
Yep, the new alkaline. I think those are my favorite. Like, even though they were touched on probably the least, that blue, at least on camera, looked really good. I'm a huge fan of colors.
I was expecting it to be like like Rick's IK blue.
Yeah,
I don't know what that sprayer is called.
Because that's the V1. That's the original. So that's the original Alky.
The new one is a I don't know. It's kind of like a royal
Yeah, it's
blue.
almost like this color almost.
Shout out to Mick Cafe.
Mick Cafe.
What do we got? What's in the cup, Doer?
Got some fair trade Arabica beans.
Okay.
With a little bit of just straight coffee and a bit of milk. So keep it basic.
All we need.
But yeah, the alkaline stuff. Sorry?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. The alkaline sprayers they had them they still have the original 1.5, and then they have the 2 liter, which I never realized that because they have the IK, the smaller one, the Foam Pro 9, which is actually an 8 liter capacity, because you need about a liter of air, if you will.
Yep.
And then the Multi Pro 12 is 10 liters. That's 2 liters of air. So you have all that, and then you can attach the big compressor on the side of it that they make the battery powered one, which is super cool. And then they had the 3D printed eFoam Pro 2 at TRCMA last year. It was very 3D printed, and they had more of a production model there, which is cool.
They were a hit.
Oh yeah, and I mean, again, like DJ said, the engagement at a booth, I think, really sucks people in, especially SEMA. Like, I'm a sucker for like free swag. Like, if there's like a reusable bag or a keychain, I'm snagging it. You know, like I'm all about that. Like, I'll have the tchotchkes bag, and then just like, I don't need any of this. But yeah, $120 for the Multi Pro 2, which I think they're aiming for Q1, probably late Q1 for 2025. But yeah, great little sprayer.
I mean, that's not too bad. You can you have a battery, you have a compressor, you have and obviously people just see that. They don't think about the R&D that goes into it. Like, and those costs need to be recouped as well. But I think that's a pretty reasonable price.
And I remember, like, I would feel very confident, and I'm not just saying that because I have a great relationship with the Bond. I can confidently say I could take any of my IK Foam Pro 2s, throw them down my driveway, go pick it up, and it'll be working just fine.
Still gonna work, yeah. I like physically, like there's not much that's gonna harm those.
And I mean and also if you do break it, when your top breaks, you can have a new lid that they brought out. That the lid is also a measuring cup. They have measuring marks inside. But Kimberly, I see you swap out the battery.
I thought about picking up a couple of the lids, but I don't have
the containers.
All of my sprayers, like, they have a head, right? Like, I don't have extra bottles that I'm swapping heads on, so I don't think I need the lid at this time.
Yeah. But for Kimberly's question on the Foam Pro 2, the battery is internal as far as I can tell. I'm sure iFixit might get their hands on it and give you a repair guide. Because I mean, lithium-ion batteries are only so specific. So I mean, if you really wanted to dig, but I'm sure it has a pretty long lifespan, especially since you're only using it for minutes at a time. But yeah.
Now, before we let's see, we will no, I'm sorry, go ahead. I jumped ahead there. We've got the IK.
No, you go. That's and then the kits that they've had, because if and again, I know that there's a love-hate with the IK sprayers in the detailing world. I like them because it's the people behind them that I like. Yes, I know the price is a little bit higher, But that being said, the
If
fact
you
that you
maintain
could
them.
almost maintain them, yeah. Like I've taken a filter out of my Phone Pro 2 that is so clogged, like there's like,
It's
little
black. It's supposed to be white.
there's-
Like I bought ones that are completely black. You change that filter, and like you immediately notice the difference.
yeah, there's bits of garbage in there, if you will.
I've replaced
And,
my O-rings. I've sometimes my pump would be a little squeaky. I've greased that. Like as long as you treat your tools with respect, like and take care of them, like they're gonna hold up.
Yeah.
In my experience, like,
yeah, big time. And a lot of people, they don't like to, be throwing away sprayers or not having a use for them, and then just having that kind of sustainability, rebuilding them if you want, is great for a lot of people. And to kind of round out IK, their TR1s, they really didn't talk about it. I just kind of saw it and thought I'd add it in. Is that the comfort grips in the TR1, they had different colors now. So they had yellow and blue comfort grips versus the traditional white and black. So I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing that you can buy, or if it's just they were just playing around.
I slowly got almost all of mine to white because I've been slowly replacing like all with the 360 sprayers.
Yeah, and
especially when you put them when you've got the comfort grip on a bigger bottle, especially when it's full, completely noticeable. Like this right here hurts on a full bottle if you don't have the comfort grip, so it's much better.
Yeah, the first ones, the original TR ones with the Canyon sprayers that were just raw dog on the sprayer was not ideal. But
as we approach the last couple minutes of the show, because we obviously don't want we have more to cover, but we may be able to talk about that next week.
Yep.
I wanted to give these guys because
oh yes,
they were kind of my tour guides around SEMA. Like it was Brad's first time, but this guy was like, he knew everywhere to go. He knew everyone to talk to. Do you guys have any final things, like your favorite thing or just any final closing thoughts on SEMA or this entire trip?
For me, it's just the people. Social media and, between all the podcasts, different people going live and doing videos, you don't have to be here to see stuff, quickly. Like everyone has the same day recaps, but getting to kind of, spend some quality time, some FaceTime with the people that you've been spending a lot of time with throughout the year, whether it's phone calls, emails, texts, whatever. That's the biggest reason coming out here. You just further build that relationship with that company, that person, and then obviously all the fun stuff that happens outside of SEMA hours.
Yep.
We got to do dinner in a comedy club with Dr. P, just kind of getting to know him more on a personal level, more about his business, his life, his family. That's the best part about it. So, it's one of those things where, do you need to come for, 4 or 5 days? No. But if it's if it's something you can do, I definitely recommend coming for a few days, kind of put together a little action sheet of people you want to kind of spend some time with. And if you can do it, do it. It's a lot of fun. These are the things that we talk about as we get older, and, the products are cool, but the people that are doing it and the people that are putting in the back end effort, it just makes it a lot of fun. And I already look forward to next year.
Yep. I'm hopefully I'm excited to hopefully be able to come back next year. Like I would like me being, a homebody, introvert, social anxiety. Like this is a big exposure therapy experiment for me. And I had a great time. Like I would absolutely come back. So
you. Anything? I couldn't really say it better than what DJ said. The cool thing to me was really just to see, the positivity between all the brands as well. A lot of times you'll see some weird, things online or some negativity or comments said and things like that. But, everyone in person just, super, super positive and just kind of uplifting everyone. There wasn't too much animosity between different brands or anything like that.
No drama.
It was just a very good show. And like DJ said, it's just nice to meet all the people and spend quality time outside of the show too was probably the biggest part.
Yeah. And to kind of round it out with Kimberly MC, I had an adjacent note. Did you guys have any kind of fan out, starstruck moments, people that you saw, ended up talking to, anything like that?
And did we? I don't think I had any starstruck moments. Like I did get to meet
Phil Swift.
We did.
There was a giant line
to meet Phil Swift. a Flex Seal.
Like giant. It was ridiculous.
We were like, what the heck's going on? Phil Swift
Like,
was
did
there.
they have like the water tank or anything, or like what were they doing?
No, but like, man, the man himself was there. We saw him, but I don't think, like, I met a lot of people, and like I wasn't necessarily starstruck. Like everybody just got a hug because like they were they just felt like friends to me. Yeah. But I will say, like, today we like stopped by the McGuire's booth, and I'm a big Throttle fan. Like, okay, the Throttle YouTube channel, just like watching all their builds and stuff. And all the Throttle guys were there with their Skyline build and stuff. And I mean, they were busy. I didn't get to say hi to any of them, but just like seeing those dudes, I was like, yo, I watch you guys all the time. That's pretty cool. So not necessarily detailing related, but yeah, I think that was it for me.
Yeah, seeing the strangers on the internet in person is something cool.
Yeah.
I've only really been able to
like be a fanboy and be all weird about it. So, you just kind of read them. You read the room. Yeah,
I've been able to experience a sliver of that at TRCMA, but I mean, this is just kind of that on steroids for people. But again, I think with SEMA compared to TRCMA is that this is, because it's on steroids, you're just running a mile a minute. Everybody's busy. You don't really have the really intimate moments to spend half an hour with someone. You got to just kind of,
because they're also talking. They're talking to other potential buyers or distributors, or like there's business being conducted as well. So you want to be respectful of that time and move on. At that moment. But
we heard Dewar already has some PTO for next year at this time.
Yep.
Maybe
we're not coming next year if Dewar's not there.
Right.
I'll say it now.
Yeah, that's right. But
let us know. We'll book the house tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Who is the best pool player? I know you guys had a pool table.
This guy's really good, dude.
Yeah.
DJ's probably really good. I don't know, Brad.
I'm the worst. He's the worst.
I'm absolutely the worst. I'm over here.
He blamed it on the fact that the table is too low for him.
Ah, it's very okay.
He's got such an advantage. He can hang over everything's a corner pocket.
If we could get this table on some quick jacks, like game over.
Man,
no chance.
Yeah. So I'm happy you guys got out unscathed, because is the show open to? So does it go Monday or Friday to Friday? Is that how it goes?
Tuesday to Friday.
Tuesday to Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is industry only.
Okay.
You can either be a media, a detail business, anything automotive related. You can sign up and get an approval.
Right.
And then Friday is anybody can come Friday. You just have to have like essentially a guest pass, but it's open to anybody in any industry on Friday.
Yeah. So Friday's bumping is basically.
Honestly, like I expected it to just be like absolute chaos, which is why I was like, I just want to make my rounds and say bye to everybody. But it was pretty manageable.
It was very mellow. Yeah, it was very mellow today. I think a lot of the business was done, and a lot of the people, that had been there, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday had kind of seen everything. So it was just kind of making your last rounds. And I think, most of the people that were there were probably more of the public that were, just kind of going to see the cars and kind of see all the, the people that,
outside was pretty crowded.
They see online.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a really big international presence here for SEMA.
Right.
So some people are literally flying all over the world. And that was another fun thing we got to do was we got, Bradley and I got to meet some of our distributors and other countries, that we've only ever gotten to talk to. So getting to meet them was really cool. I think the first 3 days are busy. I think people kind of get checked out towards the end because it is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a fun experience. If you can do it, you should. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't allow anything to be sold there, right? Like you can just give stuff away, but you can't actually sell stuff.
It seemed like the last day today, like some people were doing like final sales, and I don't know if that's like
legal or not, but
I don't know if it's legal, but like from the standpoint of like we don't want to ship we don't want to ship all this. Like it seems like a way to.
And I think it's kind of cool to not have that. You can just like showcase the product instead of like trying to sell it, like you can just kind of have the passion of the product for those companies. And obviously there's little things that I think are difficult to to give away, like depending on the cost and things like that. But it makes sense to not ship it. Like what's the cost and things like that.
Exactly.
But that's a conversation for a whole other day. But no, I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys made it out safely out of that.
Me too. Me too.
We still got one more night, so let's not get there yet.
Yeah, you guys.
See if I make it home tomorrow.
Do you guys all fly home tomorrow?
I fly out first thing in the morning. I have a 7:30 flight, so I'll actually be home, and my car will probably be washed before these guys even wake up here. So
Okay, awesome.
short flight.
Hopefully.
Yeah, very cool. But yeah, quick comment here from Dane. I know Dane wasn't there, but he was certainly there in spirit. Thanks for another podcast, guys.
Absolutely.
We appreciate everybody tuning in to episode 2 of the Detail Grind podcast here. Definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And hopefully get those numbers up and get more exposure. Feel free to share the show. And like I said, we're gonna try and hit this up every week, and just give you guys the best info. So Brad and DJ, appreciate you guys making the time to tune in and hosting our JB for the week. And
they've taken care of me, and it's been like mom and dad over here.
I should probably hide my face.
Me off for my first day of school, like when I was all suited up for P&S and going to the booth. So
yeah, wonderful.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, thanks, Alex. Thank you so much for making time, because I know we weren't sure if this was going to happen, but I'm glad we did it, and we'll continue the recap next week, I guess, because there's obviously more to talk about.
A lot more to talk about.
I'll be able to catch up on some of my stuff so that I have more to talk about.
Yeah, and we'll recap from today's stuff, so we'll have even more.
Sweet. Well, thank you everybody for sticking around and tuning in. We really, really appreciate it.